Did it work? I think it... Wait, it still continues the time though. Oh shit, did I do it too quickly? Or is it only on OBS? It worked? Okay. Oh, nice, nice, nice. It works. Okay, good. Second is Fire Sonic Firestorm. It says here, okay. Human Rampage. Okay, let's become 2D and... Yeah. How did I become 2D again? I should close these. Alright, see you later. I'm gonna squish myself. That's on my end. What's Deadlock? I have Deadlock. Human Rampage Ultra Beatdown. Singer changes after this? Oh yeah, I heard they changed the singer. Cutie? Wow! Someone invited me to play Deadlock? I don't know what it is. I have the game here. It's free, but I don't want to play it. I'm more of a Tekken head. Ah shit, I forgot to change the title and stuff. Scuff stream. Kobo fingies hurt. Now to punch. I have downloaded a few mods for Tekken 8 actually. I downloaded a few potato mods, so hopefully the game runs a little bit better. Also, I need to get my controller. Very scuffed. Oh crap. Oh crap. Oh crap. What the? Oh, it broke my hand tracking. Oh. Why are you like this? Why are you like this? Those are all on my end. I don't need hand tracking anymore. Get out. Nah. Well, that was a fight. Let me open up DS4 as well. Yeah, the power within, maximum overload, reaching into infinity, extreme power metal, and finally the newest one, which I don't know. I bought a lot of these cookies. I want to stop eating them. Want some? Hyongpia? Hyongpia? Not too sure what Hyongpia is. Ooh.
Oh, kobo! Fuck yeah!
Kobo, fuck yeah? I'm just gonna casually share some... Yep. Casually share some stuff with friends. Alright.
Oh my kobo! Fuck yeah!
Yep. Folks going back to sleep now? Okay. Yep. Have a good sleep, Crip. It's Sunday.
Yep, yep,
And it's raining outside. It's so good. No rain here. Ah, god damn it. Unfortunate. Rain's good. It has been raining for quite a bit these days. New items in Tekken shop. Oh, Tekken 6. Ooh, classic costumes? Another 3 hour to eat rain. Oh, curiously, what hour is it for you? For me, 2:46 p.m. It's 3 for you. I mean, close enough. Alright, let me see how this potato works. Okay, everything's at the lowest possible. Good. 8:45 a.m. Sunday. French? Are you? You're not. Are you? Or did you recently move to French? Poland? Poland? Lydia? Poland. Okay, who do I play today? Devojin. Do I play Devojin today? Fuck yeah. Also, I want to show you something. I have a mod for Feng. I forgot which one is it. Oh, there it is. You know, there's something. Fuck yeah, mods.
Get ready for the next battle.
We have Poland at home. Poland at home speaks Indonesia. France is on west from me. Oh. Oh. Devojin Wing is gone somehow. Oh right, Devojin has another mod. And then we have Giga. It's so fucking cursed. Oh, is it not for you? It's only +9? Okay, actually, let me go to customization real quick. I think I have Phoenix on Devojin. That's why. What the fuck? Is it entire body? Try on. Oh, there it is. Phoenix. I think there was something else for the mod, but I don't remember. Oh yeah, I need something to like... It's showing the face though. It's showing the face though. I'm trying to polish something. Remember that don't bring cat home and gain green light, red light? Yeah, I remember that one. Hi 99. Just pop in a few minutes while I wait for the Valorant competition match starts. Okay. Good luck with the matches. How do I remove Devil Jin's head? It's so fucked up. This is so fucked up. I need to check the mod. I think it's in Tekken mods. Give me a second. This one. Yeah, I need to remove the head. Invisible head is G Corp. There we go. G Corp, found it. Okay. What the fuck is this? Welcome to Tekken. Modded. Only watching them, but my team is playing. Oh, okay, okay. Good luck with your team. What the fuck is fucking B? Oh, modded. Yeah. You know there's Giga Bowser as well? Hell yeah. I think Giga Bowser also needs something to hide the head, I think. It's full entire body. I think it's this one. Yeah. Yeah. Boozer. You have to ruin Tekken if your city. Never mind, this is a bird 10 out of 10. I know, right? A boozer. I think the head doesn't show here. No, it does. So I need something to hide the head. Why is it Chen of all characters? Oh, you mean Feng? A Giga Bowser Tekken 8 mod. What's the motorcycle helmet to hide Fang's head? Okay, motorcycle helmet. So this one, and then full face motorcycle helmet. This one. Okay, there we go. Who the fuck cares? Low tier trash character Eddie 323? No, like Fang is top tier. Fang is top tier. Alisa is broken. Let's go, boss booster. Fang is like Tio. Tio. Fang is like F plus. What the fuck? Don't get me started on Fang, please. Big four, big four. Big four is fair and balanced. Heihachi, oh yeah, Heihachi is triple S tier, yep. Let's go. Oh, I think King has one as well. Yep. Yo, let's go. Yeah.
Get ready for the next battle.
Cowboy, I need these mods. Oh no, you fingies. Yeah, my fingies hurt from Clone Hero. Hi, Brian. Oh my god, I'm tearing up. There's a fucking lizardman model from Adventures of... Oh, Adventure of Kincaid. Oh, there's a lizardman now? Nah, that's not the shaman. This is called Witch Doctor, if I remember correctly. Someone muted the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't know. The tail is tiny though. Oh man, look at that chicken feet. Chicken feet. It's a fake. What about Blaziken? Black Blaziken? I thought I had the potato mod. I see the intro. Who needs a like switch when you have your Twitch chat? Bully!
In case you haven't noticed, I am a potato.
Who's a potato? In case you haven't noticed, I am a potato. GLaDOS is so good. Cross? Cross? What? Oh, wait, no, that doesn't work. Wait, that was the middle? Because it's minus 18. And it's very steppable. Here, let me show you. Just sidestep. A little bit of sidestep. Just a tiniest bit of sidestep is enough to like make it with. And when you block it, it's minus 18. Still hit the fucking kneecaps? How is that middle? I don't know what to tell you, man. It's a get off me button, I feel like. If you exhaust this, then you can always use this one to catch people off guard, I guess. Minus 18 on block, it's dead. Oh, what the fuck? That's a combo, right? But if I hold up after that, it's shit OP. +8 on block? It's way slower though, 22 frames, it's very jackable. Oh my god, frame drop. I guess I'll report lower limb fractures now as torso damage. According to Tekken, I'll be right. Oh, only one hit after that? I thought it's a combo starter. -22 on block, what the fuck? Have fun here, okay. The game's about to start, good luck. Waiting for the day then overhead would count as a low in Tekken. I mean, Kuma Panda has those kind of move. It's like a mix. Like Panda jumps for a little bit and then hits low. Yeah, Kuma Panda. Kuma is allowed. Okay. Kuma is precious boy? Yeah. Are you a... Oh, whoa! What the... I made sure that there's also this, right? Kuma is loved? Kuma is loved, definitely. My man is a bear and got talked by seemingly immortal granddad with sick ass I stuck a fuck in the wall. Hell yeah, we love Heihachi! Chicken feet. Downfall looks cool in this for this mod. Look at that. Look at the feet. Oh my god. Don't read too much into it. Everything's fine. Please send me the link to this DJ fit later. Okay, I think I can send it to you now. Give me a second. I'll DM you on Discord about this then. I got you. I discorded to you. I'm actually afraid of going ranked. I'm gonna go ranked and see how I fare with Tekken with Devil Jin. I'm a little bit scared going with Devil Jin, to be honest. If you send it now, I would go bird brain, ignore my raging headache, and play Tekken 8. Nah, I didn't send it to you. I'll say it to you afterwards now. Doing ranked is usually more balanced matchmaking than unranked. Welcome to Tekken 8, where matchmaking is dog shit. Kobo, I see the message, you already sent it. I'm gonna delete it now. I'm deleting it. You better go sleep. Oh hey, look, it's potato. Nice. There, now you can go sleep. Most games unranked matchmaking sucks. Ranked. This game is matchmaking sucks in general. Oh, hey, look at that. A good matchmaking. A June being ravaged by a bird. Yeah, kidnaps Jade. Make Jade sleep. Get that and get that rest. What am I looking at just now? Yeah, I have a mod for cutscene. What the fuck am I looking at? How sweet. My Zuya character. That was sweet. Nice confirm. Ooh, what a punish. Get robbed. Nice. Kelsey. I press one. High crush? Oh, nice. Got clipped. I did that too. Fair enough, that was obvious. Nice, good shit. Oh my god, what the fuck am I looking at? Oh, I love this. I love modded games. That looks so good. Nice. That's a combo. Elsu? Oh, angle. Nice adduct. Piston out of nowhere. Nice. Ooh. You can do that. I press one. I have no patience. Oh, they always jab challenge after I do 1-1, so let's duck and launch that one. Nice stab. Nice mid. Good shit. Oh. Oh, they read my mind? Yeah, like I said, jab jab into jab jab. I forgot. I forgot. Yeah, my Devojin knowledge is not there. They still singing and dancing. Not much of a fighting game person. I prefer Killing Instinct and Soul Calibur. Good. I mean, Killing Instinct is nice. Too toxic for me though. But I do play Killing Instinct. Killer rank. I'm Killer rank Ripper. Soul Calibur not as much, just because the online for Soul Calibur is like so terrible. Oh, Kobo, you must teach me Killer Instinct. Wait, Jade, you play Killer Instinct? Oh my god, hell yeah! Who do you play?
Get ready for the next battle.
It's a combo-based game. It's a mind game. Way more heavier than the other fighting games out there. It's the heaviest mind games and the most tiring fighting game that I played. That is Killing Instinct. It's even more tiring than Tekken. Because when you're getting combo in Tekken, you can rest for a little bit. Yeah, but the components of the mind game components for Killing Instinct is like the heaviest by far. What the hell is that? Do you even main class here? I don't think you play Mishimas. Jip, jip. Oh, you got combos? Oh, nice. Good.
Round 3. Fight.
I didn't duck that. Think she can do wave dash? Yes, you have to buy it from Microsoft Game Store. Unfortunate, I know.
Round 4. Fight.
Nice. Plus. Did that. Mid. Ooh.
Final round. Fight.
I didn't duck that one. Didn't duck that one again. Great. That was obvious. Oh. Plus. Come on, duck that. I'm not buying it sadly for now at least, because I don't know anyone who deals with Microsoft Game Store purchases. I only bought. You see, the thing is, I actually bought a few characters on for Killer Instinct only, and then eventually I got the anniversary version. So I was like, whoa.
Round 1. Fight.
Duck it. Nice. Oh. Oh, sweet.
Round 2. Fight.
Oh, hi Crush. Good call.
Round 3. Fight.
Good timing. Oh, sweet. Oh, sweet. Ooh, really? The high crush?
Round 4. Fight.
Ooh. Come on. Got him. Got him. Bird. Bird. I want to put my kobo into this game, but I don't know how.
Get ready for the next battle.
Bird. Hi, Chashu. I didn't know that Devil Jin looks like a bird. Oh yeah, modded.
Get ready for
I
the
was
next
browsing
battle.
mod the other day. I was like, ooh, hey, look. Bird. Phoenix. Very, very nice. Oh god, why is it Oscar? Why is it Oscar? Help. How do I punish? I think Alpha 4 is the punish for backstray.
Round one. Fight. Round two. Fight.
Good with punish. Oh, I have no patience. Big jab, nice.
Round three. Fight.
Oh, back 1-2.
Round four. Fight.
Nice, I ducked. They tried this full chart. Back 3! This is not gonna kill, but I get some health back. They have no great line. I messed up. Could have killed me. Good timing. Ooh, flowchart. Hi, Crush. I need to duck down for 1-2. If I can duck that, I'm pretty okay, I feel like. They don't do it as much, but if I can duck once, they're in big trouble. Alright, let's try our best. Oh god. And that too. Oh god. What? I went into it, I went into it. Ooh, what is that? Oh, crap. My legs? Oh, my legs. Good mix. Big 1-2. This one. Okay. I was airborne. Oh, I'm dead. Good, Rayjack. I have no patience. Not the bird! Got him. A bird actually looks really cool. Oh. Fair enough. Oh, fair enough. I just stood there.
Round 2. Fight.
Ooh, wow, timing. Good job, Chip. What's with that mid poke into that? Good mid.
Round 3. Fight.
I'm getting out timing here. I respond. Share more patience there. Oh, Devil Jin, your demon pulse sucks. Devil Jin demon pulse sucks. Plus. Good duck. Oh. TNT. Mid. Getting shmixed to death. It's a safe mid? Ooh, all the flowcharts are showing. All the flowcharts. I can see why they're only like eliminatoring, right? It's like I lost because I have no knowledge of Asuka. But those who knows the flowchart of Asuka, they'll just like kill them. A bit weird how the border has to open its beak in order to see. Just imagine if you have to open your mouth so your eyes are blocked by its upper half. It do be kind of weird, right? So if you want to look at people, you have to go like and then you cannot talk because you just constantly ing. I thought there's like a guaranteed follow-up after this. But I guess they removed it? Oh, down back 1+2! Right. Okay, don't forget about down back 1+2. Eat good move. Catch people off guard on wake up.
Round 1. Fight.
Nice. Are you testing me? I hate myself sometimes. Just do the throw punish. And I die for it. Immediate pop. Guarantee. Not this time. Oh god! Two. Mid. Oops. Holy shit. I messed up the combo! Oh. Who gots? Oh. No, fair enough. Ooh la la. Two. Ichikimat. Explosion. Oh, fair enough, I'm dead. It is Victor. Mushima. Hong, baguette-toi, ma chérie. ma chérie. What the fuck? Alright, well, fuck you too then.
Get ready for the next battle.
Ma chérie. Baguette Hong. A typical Victor main. Oh, they're not Victor main, obviously, but you know. A typical Victor behavior. Ooh, that doesn't work. it's not
ready for
raining
the
anymore.
next battle.
Not raining. So cool.
Round one. Fight.
Jab. Then duck back. Nice. Yuksu. Stop that. Doria. Touch it. Best combo.
Round two. Fight.
Guess they tried. Ooh, what a Tekken launch. They don't know how to play when they're on the other side. I mean, fair enough. I don't know much as well. Yawn. Uh-oh. Usero. Oh. Man, look at that point. 100 points. God damn. Nah, it's alright. At least Bird is cool. We like Bird. Jip. Oh. Forgot, all Kazi I like to start with downward plus 2. Hell sweet. Right. Damn.
Round two. Fight.
Fair enough. Hell sweet. Right. Hell sweet.
Round three. Fight.
What? Unfortunate. They tried. Oh. they're doing the same thing over and over again. I mean, to be fair, Kazuya is like, I think Kazuya and Devil Jin is like, okay, no. Kazuya is the most honest character in the game currently, right? Sure, Kazuya has his vortex and shit, hell sweeps and like 4-foot tree, but like, if you know the matchup, Kazuya is like the easiest matchup to learn because Kazuya don't have much to mix you up. Kazuya is like the most down-to-earth character you can play, right? It all depends on your Tekken fundies. It all depends on your fundies to play, to pilot the character. So it's like, yeah, if you don't have strong fundies and you play Kazuya, that's what happens.
For the next battle.
Because you are not given as much tools as the other characters. So yeah. I mean, then you have Nina, who is like an absolute bullshit character, but but hey, it's normal. It's Tekken. True. Of course they fall for it again. Oh, that was cool. I mean, I'm doing the same thing because it works. If it works, don't change. Your luck is run out. Okay. Oh. Damn that string. Pulling out the strings now. I didn't punish that. Of course, you're gonna fall for it. Low parry that. Okay.
Round 2. Fight.
That string's too fast. Actually bullying, I'm so sorry. I don't know what else I can do after the hell sweep. Oh my god. Oh, that was nasty as fuck. I'm so sorry.
Get ready for the next battle.
It's half time for the first game and my team is dominating 9-3. Yo, nice. Strong team. But why are you taking revenge on console Wi-Fi players? Was that Wi-Fi? No, that was not Wi-Fi. That was cable connection. I'm fairly sure, yeah. We skied again. If I can power drive them like it was Wi-Fi, they need that got served. I mean, I don't like Nina in general. Today, my goal is to learn to duck strings.
Get ready for the next battle.
Right, that's my goal today. Victor play is also like unsavory. It's kind of funny as the community memes on them for being the worst team, but here they're in the grand finals. Hey, it happens. Upset them. Hell yeah. Let them know. Ah, Smashery. I ducked. Korlock. Korlock. Oh god. Nice mitts. High crush on Ronstar is pretty good against me. Whole combo! Cool guts. This minus 16. Nice. Oh, yo, nice. Right, of course, that's the stuff I forgot. I got baited. Back to lurking for me? Okay. Oh, good jet check. Born apple teeth. Damn, this Victor has wild combos. Okay. Okay. That trade. Oh, they messed up. Ooh. That low is so good. Victor has really long legs. But yeah, this Victor is pretty good. Fundamentals wise.
Get ready for the next battle.
The fundies, Tekken fundies. Copyrighted audio says Twitch. I know. I was playing Dragon Force music for 2 hours, come on. 2 hours straight of Dragon Force music? Hell yeah.
Get ready for the next battle.
Holy shit, it's all like Mishima here. Crazy. Mishima is like stuck at this rank. I mean, me too, but my Kazuya and Reina is at Mighty Ruler. Devojine's way harder to play, honestly.
Round one. Fight.
What? They just do it? What kind of wave dash is that? What the fuck? Okay, don't judge. People are learning, okay? It takes balls to play Mishima, okay? How sweet. Oh, nice. This is like, if I'm losing, I'm gonna press buttons. Thank you very much. I'm plus.
Round one. Fight.
Oh, I didn't break that. Come on, I can play on both sides. Oh, they tried. Have she? They tried. They tried again. Come on, you're too thirsty. You tried 3 times Hell Sweep and you're gonna miss input. I'm gonna go to practice mode for this, buddy. Oh. Combos. Utoshi. Oh, the whip punish. Shine! Damn, that was clean! That was clean! The other team is pulling back? Oh shit.
Yep.
What's the mod, bro? Bro? I mean, it's a Phoenix mod in Tekken 8. If you type it, then I'm pretty sure you can find it. That one doesn't work. Oh, no Wi-Fi? Man. I've been playing Tekken. I'm gonna ignore the bro for now. I've been playing Tekken for about... shit. I think I started playing Mishima about 3 years back. Then I started playing, like, seriously. Yeah. It is about 3 years ago that I started playing Mishima, playing Heihachi on Tekken 7, and learning all the wave dash and electrics and shit. Yeah. Ooh, patience. Oh, the punishment. Ooh, what a whip punish. Damn. Nice.
I think there's something going on. Oh my god, the wave punish. Holy shit. You're not 100k, buddy.
przed niesprawiedliwością.
I guess they just bought Tekken 8. They got the fundies though. The really strong fundies. What a whip punish. Mid? When they started flailing like that, I don't know what to do. The challenge.
Good mid. Oh, I hesitated. Political storm? No. No. Safe mid. Ooh, they know the punish, okay. It's minus 14 on block.
Nie ugnę się przed niesprawiedliwością.
They know Tekken 8. That's a new Tekken 8 move and they know. They're not new to Tekken 8.
Get ready for the next battle.
I guess they bought a new account to play, probably. For someone in Dominator rank that has so much fundies, yeah. Still, I used to main him in 7, can't wait for him to come back with DLC buffs. I don't know if I want too much buffs for him, to be honest. Like, to be honest, the way he is in Tekken 7 is pretty good, I would say, yeah. I mean, Heihachi by itself is also pretty strong, you know. Very fucking oppressive highs and mids. You have Demon Uppercut, Electrics. And then a homing Hell Sweep that doesn't knock down though. Second hit is a mix. I think those are like the key moves for Heihachi in Tekken 7. It's pretty fun. I don't know what they're gonna add to Heihachi. Because Reina is like the replacement for Heihachi, isn't it? And then they suddenly brought Heihachi back. It's like, ooh, hey, Heihachi's book. So like, why not, right? Maybe they're gonna add something new. I don't know.
Get ready for the next battle.
Buroyan?
Round 1. Fight.
Yay. Ooh, water block. That was obvious. Nice. Oh my god, what the fuck? No way. Nice. I had no patience. Good check. Nice. Good check.
Round 3. Fight.
Good step. Good step. Yay. Turkish slug thing. Oh right, it's a 5-hit. I forgot. Crap. Good shit, good shit. 5-hit, 5-hit. Snake eye buff.
Round 1. Fight.
Good patience. I guess they're waiting for that, obviously. Nice! The delay.
Round 2. Fight.
I press one. That was my this one. Oh, bad trade.
Round 3. Fight.
Good ball. Good low. Were they testing? Not too sure what they're doing towards the end there.
Fight. Final
They have a
round.
chance.
Fight.
I ducked for no reason. That's a fight, right? Ah, yeah, no back four. I'm dead. Nope. Oh my god, fuck. The jab is so lucky, there's no fucking way. Right, 1-1.
Round one. Fight.
Yeah, I'm too wild there, don't do that. Ah, the timing. Fair enough.
Round two. Fight.
Has to be unsafe, right? Huh? 2-0? Do it again? Isn't it mid-high? I need to go to replay for this. Yay. I think to step the other way for that.
Round three. Fight.
F one. F one again. No patience. Oh. Good step.
Round four. Fight.
Man, it's hard to react to that. I ducked. Can you even duck that? Or does it jails? Not dead yet. Good no. Feels good. Alright, time to watch the replay. Not too sure about that if it's a mid-high or not. Oh, good. Which is why we have replay. I'm just gonna watch the last one. Sorry. I feel like it jails. Hi Nexus. Oh my god, Dragon. Oh. And Falcon? Hi.
Hi. The boop was wrong. Hope you're doing good, Nexus. And also hope you're doing good too, Falcon. Alright, there we go.
Get ready for the next battle. Round one. Fight.
Doing well? Nice. They lose their turn only. Mid-high. It jails. It jails, it jails. So what do I do against that? Good, just woke up to be honest. Yeah, hope you had a good sleep. Says that duck. It's so fast though. But yeah, I think Steps at duck sounds about right. Yeah, it's very tricky. Very tight, very hard, but yeah, I mean it's entirely possible. I was lurking, noticed you were playing a bird. Yeah. Got the mod. And we got Bowser as well, but it's very cursed. Bowser is mega cursed.
Get ready for the next battle.
What's the move again? 1+2? That looks like a 1+2 to me. What the fuck is that move?
What region are down by 1+2? Oh, it's down by 1+2! Thanks. So what do we do? Jab down by 1+2. The fuck? I'm in Malaysia. I'm Asia too. Saya orang Malaysia. Just get a coffee to start the day off. Hey, nice. And coffee's always nice. Can you show Curse Bowser? I can show you afterwards. Record jab down. Yes. It's... Oh, it's tricky as fuck. Only right. Okay, only says it right. Jesus. Ooh, so tight. And now to apply this on a real match is hard as fuck. Oh, at least we found the answer, sort of. Oh yeah, Cursed Bowser, I forgot. Give me a second. Did you know who Cursed Bowser might be? By the name of Tio! Tio! Fucking Tio is the Cursed Bowser. let's fucking go. We love mods.
Get ready for the next battle.
It's Giga Bowser, by the way, from Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I think. Oh, fuck. Yo, we love Tio. Tio? I love how Tekken AI is still so bad. Tio! Tia! Giga Bowser is from Melee? But doesn't Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has as well? Ultimate Bowser turns to Giga Bowser and they just like do one punch, right? And then Giga Bowser is like in Melee is actually playable. Booster. 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 Who's the bird character? To my knowledge, the Phoenix is from Bloody Roar or something. Hi, Torisa says. Would the connection be bad if you were to face someone in OCE? Is that Oceania? Is that from around Australia? Question mark? It's a bit strongly, but I've seen far worse. I'm not surprised if you've seen far worse. Around there? I actually have no idea. I only fought against someone who's from like...
And welcome.
Philippines, Singapore, Malaysia, Japan, Taiwan, China, around those areas. Yeah, of course. We could try if you don't mind. The connection is probably gonna be like terrible, you know, being Malaysian internet and shit. But I don't know how to like. We could try it, yeah. Will you be able to join my room? I'm British Goober. British? Session name. Kobold. No, not Kobolth. 2B Gauntlet mode on. Yeah, looks good. Don't know if you can search my session. Oh, it shows my Reina? Goddamn. I'm not British. I actually don't know if you can join like this. Yeah, sure. Just maybe not, bro. I know it's a little bit weird, but I'm trans currently. god. I'm just looking at Twitter and there's like suddenly fucking 10 bots. What the fuck? Oh, Twitter is such a hellhole right now. All good, all good. Don't worry, don't worry. Just a little bit of reminder. Appreciate it, no? Alright, let me share. I'm gonna share some dragon pictures to my Discord real quick. I found one. Look at this. Hell yeah. Dragon plushie, twice the size of the dragon. At least every time I open up Twitter, it's mostly dragons and stuff, so... Hell yeah. I actually don't know if you can join like this Zen sign. Also, thanks for the follow. Forgot to mention. Will you be able to join with just my room name? Should be able to? Okay. I thought dragons myself. I have a dragon care. I've got a couple of friends in US that I want to play with, but the connection is horrible. Yeah, holy shit, I know that feeling. God damn. I want to play against so many people, but you know there's like Reggie, there's like Dag that wants to play as well. It's like, god damn it, I cannot play with him. Give Bowser history in Melee. He was an unplayable secret boss from Adventure mode that was activated, gave the final boss of the second phase. In Brawl, he was Bowser's final smash, and then it turned... Oh wait, it was Brawl! Oops, sorry, my bad. I was thinking about Brawl, not Melee. The playable Giga Bowser in Brawl. In Ultimate, they streamlined to his final story, one punch as Giga Bowser. Yeah, just one punch. I want to play as Giga Bowser, goddammit. Oh yeah, I think I might be able to send this to Jade then. I don't know if Jade went to sleep or something. Okay. Still loading up? My Tekken ID? Oh fuck, how do I search for that? Is this all like all numbers? I actually don't know which one is ID, or is it this one? I don't know, Tekken is weird. I can't even view my own profile, thank you game. Is that good enough? It's kind of funny how there's no like name search in Tekken like community or like friend search and shit. Oh, it's raining again. Hell yeah. It rained good. Oh. Don't think we can play? What's up? And something's wrong? Something's wrong? Oh, Terry's playing. Gravity's playing. Oh, of course they're playing Yoshimitsu. Goddamn. I have to meet you in Tekken launch or something, but that's too much to ask, sorry. Yeah, Tekken is weird like this. Goddamn. Yeah, sorry about that as well. Maybe some other time that we can try? Victor Hon Baguette. Hong Baguette.
Get ready for the next battle.
Ma chérie. Victor in that damn long legs. Hopefully another time. Oh hell yeah.
Get ready for the next battle.
I'm Hasty Wawas. What kind of name is that? Hong Baguette. Who the fuck are you? Did you Baguette? Why do you keep entering like that? Ow. I broke it. Baguette. Oh, dude. Plus. The duck? This, I don't even want to try electrics and shit. Omoi Shirigai. We take those, baby. Hornlock. Oh, that's plus, right? Combos? Damn, combos. Hong Baguette. They don't want to play. Whew. Baguette bang. Bang. Yo, nice. Come on, I broke it. doing it. Oh, that's unpunishable? Oops. That's punishable, I didn't do it.
Round 2. Fight.
Ooh la la! Oh! 222! Yo, no 222 ender? Yellow Mutant Demon Chicken versus Chinese bootleg John Wick. Hi Murph! I'm the chicken! Damn. Why would you keep pressing button there? I'm just stuck in, buddy. I'm just stuck in. Hell yeah.
Get ready for
Oh,
the
we're doing
next
good.
battle.
We have double roll now? Oh my god, look at that roll. Oh, that roll. The perfect roll. Half Merp is doing good. And Steel Smart and cleanse over Nexus. How big is Nexus? If Jade is like mega big, then Nexus should be a lot bigger, right? If Jade is able to like climb over Nexus. This rolling cat emote was the motivation to get my own roll emote. Oh, it looks so good. I also made Victor roll.
Get ready for the next battle.
Oh, King? I need to at least break one Shining Wizard. Oh, did they use the Witch Doctor one? That would be kind of funny. They did! What the fuck? Let's go! Patience? I actually didn't think that. Disrespect. Nice. Going down. Whatever this is. Combos. Ooh, they have confirms. Yeah, they're playing very slow actually.
Round 3. Fight.
Oh god, 1+2. They got all the floor. Let's hammer. Got him. It's a king of play S, I know, right? Me too. That was not a counter hit. Ooh, Jaguar step? I was ready to. Nope. Jaguar step. They like that? Nah. Nah. Demon chicken! Look at the demon chicken! Kyofu Oshieteru. Get that. Oh, the punishable. That's a counter hit. They like fishing for that. Actually, wait for that move to come up. You were thirsty! Don't do that! Oh, counter hit. They tried. Ooh, they were really good at fishing for that. They actually play patient against this guy. They are very patient. Still plus. They're going downstairs. Man, they keep breaking all the floors. Going forward. Did that trigger the jump? Sorry? Did I press that? What the hell? I did hell sweep. Uh-oh. They're gonna go for a RDC? No, doesn't look like it. Yeah, trade for 191. Throw. Lucky. Oh, that was good. Stop that. I will learn to duck your strings now. Alright. That worked out.
Get ready for the next battle.
I think the mod description say that the king character is like some sort of a witch doctor. See, the thing is, I want to mod this game and put my kobold in there as Reina, so that I can see kobold doing electrics. Oh my god! What is Jin like a Digimon? Mods. Mods.
Get ready for the next battle.
Broyan? Hi, Koketa.
Round one. Fight.
Good check. Good check. I didn't punish. Ooh, what a punish.
Round two. Fight.
Guarantee. Good low. Something on the mod combo into game topic. Oh, okay.
Fight.
What was that? Good high. Second hit. Jesus, what's going on? Are you guys seeing? Are you guys hearing that? Is my PC dying? Are you guys hearing that?
Round four.
What the fuck?
Fight.
Nice! Ooh, what a stab! Ooh, what a stab! That was sexy as fuck.
Final round. Fight.
Good job, check. Oh, I ducked. I totally ducked. Nice. Low. Ooh, headshot, nice. I'm not letting them like duck so much, so I should do a little bit more lows. Kyofu. Oh shit, hero. Oh my god. Nice. timing. I press button. I totally press button there. I had no patience. That was obvious. Oh, the mix. I don't need this kills, but I'm doing it. Ooh, we take those.
Round 3. Fight.
I press button.
Round 4. Fight.
Nice. Ooh, that was good. Good job, Chen. Oh, she expected that, honestly. Good low.
Fight.
Great 1, 2. I press 1. I'm dead. Oh, I think I ducked. Nice. I lost patience towards the end. I totally lost patience towards the end. That was bad.
Get ready for the next battle.
I'm just looking at dragons now. Oh, nice.
Get ready for the next battle.
Jin? Oh, I haven't seen this stage in a while. Holy shit. It's Devil Jin against Jin. その渦が
Fight.
What this?
Round 2. Fight.
I don't think they can actually do an X-Trix. Nice. Good though, good mid. Spring trap.
Fight.
That was nasty. Ow. That hell sweep block was clutch. Ooh. Sono Utsuga.
Fight.
No. Oh, I didn't break it. Cheers tour. Nice. Ooh, they know the punish. You wanna throw? You wanna throw? Oh, that was fast.
Round 2. Fight.
Oh, I didn't break it. 4-2. Scourge! Scourge! Scourge!
Round 3. Fight.
Nice. Throw.
Round 4. Fight.
Scourge! Nice. Throw, throw. Frame traps, baby. Oh my god, yep. Hi, Wo. Also, Wo, I just realized all those
Get ready
coffee
for the
stuff,
next battle.
all those coffee donation have messages on them. I didn't know. So sorry. But I read them today. I was like, oh, I'm missing so many things. I apologize. I'm so sorry. But yeah, the you know the donos and stuff. I'm missing the messages where you told me to, like, you know, the money is supposedly going to games, right?
Get ready for the next battle.
Oh, especially the one yesterday, being told that I need to. Oh, whoa, wait. Thank you. No, well, I need to apologize because I didn't. Yeah. Oh, good timing. Yiksu! Oh. Jean's Demon Ball is so good. Scourge! Scourge! Scourge!
Round 2. Fight.
That was fast as fuck. Scourge! Uh oh, that was a side throw.
Round 3. Fight.
Good job, check. Ay! Ow. Oh! I'm losing patience. Nope. Pull back, alright, pull back, it's okay. Ah, good stuff.
Round 4. Fight.
Ooh, Harry. Scourge!
Final round. Fight.
Scourge! Good mid. Oh, I don't break that. Oh my god, what a catch. That was nasty. Good low. We skied again. Jean goes Scourge. And the best demon point in the game. Fighting against the worst demon point in the game.
1. Fight.
Oh, 4-4? Scourge! Oh, I walked into it. Scourge!
Round 2. Fight.
Oh, forgot about that. Oh, nice pickup. Iksu! Break them all? Mid? Low? Throw? I didn't punish that? Ow. Oh, I tried something.
Round 3. Fight.
Oh, good. Okay. What a pickup. Oh, I didn't break that. I'm dead. Yeah. My throw break's still not here. Scourge!
Get ready for the next battle.
Hey, malicious magpie. Welcome. Ooh, my fingies are getting painful. Rolling Victor? We found cheap combo. No, that doesn't work. That only works if they don't tech roll. If they press any button other than square or if they press any button other than 1 or 3, they are gonna get hit by that. This one. Yeah, if they hold back, they cannot wake up. They'll keep getting hit. If they tech roll, then yeah, that's good. Rolling Victor. rolling victor. That's how we get bugged.
Get ready for the next battle.
Oh. America won? Oh shit.
Round one. Fight.
Round start. Whoa, patience? Really? Whoa, they're blocking. For a destroyer. No, I didn't break that. Shari! Oh. Interesting Eddie play. Doesn't work. Right, round start. I can't believe they did it again. I need to launch that if they whiff it. Explosion! What?
Round three. Fight.
Oh, tip finish. Come on, I broke it. Even the sea swan can see that throw now.
Round four. Fight.
I haven't broke a single throw from them. They only do 1+2 throws, so need to get my fingies ready.
Round one. Fight.
Just went for it. Oh. I know I can break the throw.
Round two. Fight.
Oh. Corlo. Whoa, nice timing. Whoa. Oh, I'm dead. Not yet. Why would you do that? They duck too much. But honestly, for Destroyer to play like this is honestly very fucking impressive. This is a very impressive victor, holy shit. I mean, sure, I cooked them, but, you know, for Destroyer to play until I mess up, and they punish me for it, it's actually a good way, like, to learn the game. I mean, sure, Victor has a lot of, like, strings and shit that you can just press and win. Pretty much win if they don't know the matchup. I would say that Victor was kind of a rare breed. A Victor that just holds back and wait for me to mess up. I think that's pretty impressive. Also, I need to keep back 4 or back 3 in my mind a little bit more. Back 3 is probably gonna be good against Hwarang.
Round 1. Fight.
I deserve this. The duck? Oh, cool. Nice, I ducked.
Round 2. Fight.
Fair enough. That was very obvious.
Round 3. Fight.
Ooh, what a duck. Nice. I pressed 1. If I'm in the blender, just back 3. I don't want to deal with the blender. I have good timing though, holy shit. Oh, I did that too.
Round 4. Fight.
I didn't break that. Oh, set up? Oh, not like that. I think they might catch on to me that I'm not very fluent playing on the other side. See if they catch up or not. What? Marn's like down for 2? Oh. Oh, remember there's a setup and the quick stand for that. That throw, just quick stand, block it.
Round 1. Fight.
They're not doing low as much. I press button. I messed up the combo. I quick killed. I quick killed.
Fight.
Nice. Oh god, nice. Oh, quick stand? That's not guaranteed. I have a quick stand for that.
Fight.
Ooh, what an orbital. Good call out. Very away. Mix. Good call. Oh, they threw it. Thank God. Hi, friend. Hi, Kobo friend. Alpha 2. Nice. Hit. Nope. Nice. Good mid. Very aware.
Get ready for the next
Do you
battle.
now merp the combo? Oh, you mean, do I know merp? Yeah. Can I cancel the hit? You do? Yeah. I guess we both... I mean, Cobalt friends, right?
Get ready for the next battle.
Bingy? Shaheen? Oh, Shaheen's so rare. I never really learned Shaheen's matchup. Right. Mid-range slide.
Round 1. Fight.
No punish. Yeah, how about Matini? Up kick on round start. Like 1-2, I guess. Pressing buttons. Setups. Big jab into that. Yeah, how about Martini? Why are you using special style? Trying to see people nail them? I want more people to know about Merv. Merv's precious. Oh, I see. I think I know how to do that now. Cross. Too slow. Yeah, how about Martini? Yeah, how about Martini? Your art style feels familiar, that's why. I mean, the current art that you're seeing right now is done by Bailey. Hiya, Bailey Bear. It's like I saw you in one of his streams. Probably. I do stop by his stream when I can. Mert's precious. No way. Plus. Slidey. Ada. Ooh, what a catch. Didn't punish that. Good check. Yeah, how about Martini? Damn, you just press buttons there. Nice. Oh my god, it's so cancerous dealing with that low. Oh, nice. That one single is carrying him so much. That one. Yeah, how about Martini? I didn't that. Jesus fucking Christ, man. I'm Shaheen, I responded, I win. Jesus fucking Christ. I'm Shaheen. Brother. Sorry, no Merv, do you know this emote? Merv part? I mean, I know, huh?
Round one. Fight.
I didn't duck that. I mean, I got hit on the first one. Yeah, that one, Nexus, thank you. I think I have that one as well. Unseeable low heat smash, thank you, game. I'm gonna fucking bring out the bear. Why am I playing Devil Jin? Why am I playing like the shittiest character in the game, huh? I don't understand. Was that a natural hit? Was that a natural hit, by the way? Slider! Yeah, how about Matid? Unseeable low. Do you like hot chocolate? Probably. Oh, gravity? D-gravity? How do you do this? Huh? They can't even confirm that. To be fair, they're just Dominator. This is what it means to be carried by a fucking character, buddy.
Round 4. Fight.
Big check. Yeah, how about Matid? I was airborne. I didn't break that. Slider! Jesus, can I break ropes? Oh, 101 MS, okay. Okay, I see why. Well, fuck Shaheen. Next. The one and only, nice.
Next battle.
I demand to know the truth. No, I don't want to play Devil Jin anymore, fuck. It's way too fucking hard. Just play Reyna, I guess. It's easier.
Get ready for the next battle.
Reyna is way easier to play than any of the characters that I've played. Or if I even play Bear. Heihachi 2.0, yeah. I wonder how Heihachi is gonna be like in Tekken 8 now. Waifu movement? Oh yeah? Right? The trailer is so good. At first I thought it's Akuma, but then it's not. It's actually someone else. And then Heihachi pops up, it's like, oh god. Oh my god, Hong Hong Baguette! Hong Hong Baguette Masheri! Oh, it's Garu Victor? Oh god. Oh, they main Victor, okay.
Round 1.
Here we go.
Fight.
I'm fast. Bro, having mitts. Oh my god. Mitts, so good.
Round 2. Fight.
Explosion. What are you doing? I'm plus, I'm plus.
Round 3. Fight.
Good armor. Shoot to cheer! Ow. Whoa. Nah. Oh shit, I tried disrespect. I tried to disrespect. They're potentially bringing back Akuma. They're gonna bring back the cancel of a character into Tekken? Oh no. Alright, Garyu, what do you do with that? Ooh la la. I'm plus! Hiya! I'm plus because I'm Reina. Reina, I'm being carried by Reina a little bit, hell yeah. Bye bye.
Get ready for the next battle.
Ain't no way he made Deathstroke from Vector. Who's Deathstroke? Time for Death Combo PTSD. Nyama got Fireball in Tekken. Hiya. Got meter management in Tekken. Cannot lah. Ooh, console wired? Welcome back, Giandre. Also have a good night,
Get
Nexus.
ready for the next battle.
Oh, one rank. Oh, right, I'm Mighty Ruler. Yes, of course, I forgot. Start! Shoot!
Round 1.
Here we go.
Fight.
Guilty. Low. I'm getting out timing. A root of evil. I cannot react to root of evil.
Round 2. Fight.
Good start. They know what they're doing. I didn't break that. Gigas needs to return. Yeah. Need to throw more people. Gigas is cool. Nice. Oh, hi crush. Got him. Wait, I got 10 win streak? What the fuck?
Fight.
Timing. Chen. Pressure.
You win.
Man, it is as if Devil Jin is the hardest to play. What the fuck? I cannot get to like Shinryu
Round 1.
with Devil Jin. Is insane. Nice. That's a launcher. Oh! I cannot react to that. I cannot believe it. Good shit. Elegant. Ooh. Schmicks. Oh, I thought I broke it. Hiya! Good low. 1, 2, 3. I forgot. Ooh, one step. Beautiful. Oh. I'm getting stepped too much. I need to stop jamming. Rule of evil. Man, I still cannot break throws. S'il te plaît. Mighty Ruler cannot break throws. I need to go down.
Round 1. Fight.
Oh. Oh. Man, can't read no break throws. That was a generic throw. Oh, a bad trade. Oh, they actually fell for it. I guess they were panicking a little bit as well. Ow. Ow. Ooh. Yeah, I jabbed too much. Then I could sidestep into down for 2 alone. Good mid. Okay. Ooh. I think you can extend a little bit more than that. Oh. Man. Okay, out timing. That was good. Out timing.
Get ready for the next battle.
Oh, it's already 6? Holy shit. 6 p.m. Yeah. Today is kind of like a... I'm bullying my own thingies today. playing Clone Hero and then now playing this. At least I'm happy.
Get ready for the next battle.
Oh no, okay, last match. I'm not gonna play anymore. Nope, I'm done. If I see a Xiaoyu, it's time to stop.
Round one. Fight.
Then duck. Lamau. The death mix, hypnosis.
Fight.
Oh, can I react to that? Holy shit. Oh my god, it tracks? I was walking, I was not stepping.
Fight.
Oh, can I react to that? Non-stop buttons, boy. Non-stop button. Non-stop button, you fuck. Just delete this character, man. Jesus.
Fight.
Hey, I'm Xiaoyu. Why? Because I can press all the buttons I can press. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Round three. Fight.
It's frame trap. Shit's safe, man.
Round four. Fight.
Oh. I could get used to that animation, honestly. Low, mid, low. Save? Okay. Mid. misinput of a throw, really?
Fight.
Mid? No?
You lose.
ちょっとやりすぎちゃった
Nothing of value would be lost if this character is gone, honestly. Alright. At least I'm not too angry right now, so it's all good. I stopped myself a little bit earlier, so yeah. I just don't understand. Alright. It's 6 p.m. And before Kobo starts Tekken stream, see Xiaoyu stream end. If I see Xiaoyu in like my first few matches, I'm okay with that. But right now I'm just a little bit, you know, like I've been playing for about 3 hours, and then it's like 3 hours of Devil Jin. Like I just don't, like I know I'm saying this may be coping, but Devil Jin is like so hard to play. I just don't know what to do again. Don't know what to do with Devil Jin, so slowly and surely I'll get like frustrated at the game, and then of course I'll get frustrated now. It's like after like so long of playing, like I need so much brain power to process the whole match and stuff. I cannot just like mindlessly press buttons like the other characters can do. So, which is also kind of why that, you know, like Devil Jin is like so hard for me to play. It's difficult. It really is difficult. Alright, there are people out there saying that, oh, Devil Jin, you can just do this and do that. Yeah, if they know the matchup, then I guess it all comes down to knowledge again. You know, like, yeah, it's just a little bit tough. So of course I'll get like, you know, slowly getting tired, more and more getting tired. So like after a few more hours, and then if I meet someone like Alisa or Xiaoyu, I'll get heated. I think it's just like a vicious cycle. So of course before I get too mad, I'll just like stop the game first. You know, don't want to get too heated now, do we? Right? Also, I do need to control my own temper a little bit as well. No. But then again, delete Xiaoyu, nothing of value will be lost. It's just like what does Xiaoyu even do other than just like want to smooch Jin? I mean, the whole story for Xiaoyu is just like, I want to smooch Jin. That's pretty much it. Yeah, nothing of value will be lost. Thank you for the stream. Yeah, of course. Thank you for being here too. I do I was thinking of playing a little bit longer, but then again I was like, nah. A little bit tired. And of course tomorrow is Monday. Need to get back to doing art now. I'll try to do as much for Jade's model tomorrow. Because there are a few people who can redeem the 150k points stuff now, so yeah, I'm gonna need to work hard for it. Work hard so that people can redeem this stuff, so that they can get like more 3D art. You know, I also need to do more art as well. So yeah, more art. Tomorrow do art. Oh. There's not a lot of people streaming currently. I mean, a few that I know, yeah. We raided to Jester yesterday. Oh, there's Guinium. I never raided Guinium, right? In fact, I don't know much about Guinium. I still miss Gone. Yeah, only one appearance in Tekken 3 and that's pretty much it. No more Gone. Yeah, I guess we can rate Greenium. I mean, to be fair, I never rated Greenium, so why not, right? So, I don't know if I don't think I'm missing anything. I think the most that I'm feeling right now is my left hand actually going numb. my left fingers are actually going numb. You know, from the clone hero earlier, and then now I'm playing Tekken, and then all the way Mishima, because why not? I love Mishimas. And then now my thumb hurts. My whole left hand went numb. But it's alright. It's all for like good fun. So I'm just glad that I stop playing Tekken when I don't feel like it. Because if I were to play more, I'm definitely gonna be I'm definitely gonna explode, which is bad. I don't want that. Imagine how jank the meta could be if what's his name, Dr. B was still a thing. Oh, Dr. Boskanovich? I mean, is Dr. Boskanovich strong? I only seen Dr. Boskanovich in Tekken Tag Tournament 2. He's like the more clown than Yoshimitsu. Like Yoshimitsu can like clown around already, and then you have Dr. Boskanovich, which is like 2 times Yoshimitsu, I feel like. I don't know. At least it will be entertaining looking at Dr. Boskanovich beating on someone with just explosions and like Joker style. And this will be entertaining. It's not like the try-hard Xiaoyu, you know. It's just way better. Look, I getting beat up by Yoshimitsu, alright? At least Yoshimitsu has like some quirks to it. Yoshimitsu knows that he's just clowning around. That's cool. Right? So at least I don't feel too bad getting beat up by Yoshimitsu. Yoshimitsu looks cool, alright? And there is Xiaoyu. And Alisa. Alisa is okay. Alisa is not too bad, but still is like, it's probably just like right below Xiaoyu, honestly. There was a joke character that ate like half your inputs without doing anything while being ragdoll in Tekken 3. Oh wait, I think I remember a little bit. That's what Dr. Boskanovich does in Tekken 3. At least in Tekken Tag Tournament 2, he's still standing and actually trying to fight. And not just like a ragdoll for like 50 seconds of the round. Are you ending? Yes, I'm ending. Because my hand hurts and feeling a little bit hungry. So I'm probably gonna go get some food. Get some rest as well. And gonna get ready for tomorrow's art. So yeah. It's been a while. I think it's been like two weeks. 2 weeks since I last do art. I need to do more art really. Like crap. Let's rate Greenium. Greenium is Orca. Orca? Oh god, wait, Orca is adorable though. Oh, Greenium's character is lore, wow. My character has no lore. Like, if you ask me about, hey, how did you get this kobold? I like dragons. I like dragons. That's why I have kobold. Come on. Right. I even have a dragon, have a cryptid, and have a snake. Yeah. Right. I feel like it's kind of just a tad bit sad that my character has no backstory, but at the same time, I don't know if I want to make a backstory for my character. I made my first guardian has a bit of a backstory, but eventually I just like, nah, it's just me having fun, but it's not really what I want, so I kind of just like not having it. So yeah, I guess my characters have no. I mean, if you want to ask about the backstory, just like, yeah, I like this particular thing, and I got this character. Hi, Fluffy. Hi again. But yeah, let me summon Bernie real quick and stuff. Look. The plug. Hey, Bernie.
I am once again asking for your financial support.
Streamlabs died. But yeah, that is supposed to lead to like a coffee donation stuff. But it's okay. Let me check if Streamlabs is like... Yeah, the bot is down. I still need to plug. What? Where's that booping? Hi, Swift. I mean, look at me right now. I'm a generic Charmander that's lewd as fuck compared to me. Your character is sprawling with lore. I like dragons. That's a good lore, right? I like dragon. Got belly boobed? Hey, I'll take it. Belly boob, hell yeah. Okay, let me see if are you working? No, it's just dead. Weird. It's okay. I'll check it out afterwards. I did restart Cloudbot, but it's just not working. All good. It's okay. I mean, if you want to check out my Discord, there's like a link down there. Below the About Me section, there's like a Discord if you want to join. Feel free. We have Dragon Simping Corner over there. So yeah. Tit pats and crotch boob. Tit pats and crotch boob. Oh my god. Top tier pets and boobs. I mean, I still prefer head pets more than tit pet. Unless it's someone that I know personally, then I guess tit pet and crotch boob is fine. I mean, yeah, I don't know. So if bond is not working, we can just like... We're gonna ask Orca for an uppies, alright. I'm gonna type my own rate message, give me a second. What's the rate message again? Oh god. Alright, let me check something real quick. This one? Kobo asking for uppies? Always. Alright, I type my own rate message. Kobold is always asking for uppies. I can express how much I want uppies because I'm flat currently. But I always want uppies. I don't think I'm missing anything. Yeah. Everything looks good. Can I go? I'm loving tit pets. No, but we're reading to Gwinium. It's someone that I don't know as much still. Maybe not tit pets and crotch boobs for them. Just ask for some uppies, you know, as all kobolds do, right? All kobolds do. We ask for uppies, right? No, no tit pets and crotch boobs for them. Crotch boobs or crotch boobs? I'm just gonna raid to Greenium. Okay, I type in the raid. So before the raid, I want to see. Thank you all so much for joining with me today. Really appreciate all of you. Love you all so much. And also know that you guys are all heckin' loved, valid, and meta. Very valuable. Kobo loves y'all. Ending stream? Yep, we're raiding to Greenium. Bye Zandy. Take care. Here comes the raid to Greenium. Bye. If you want, this is the one. Yeah, Greenie. The heckin' cutie. I do love Orca. Orcars are kinda cute. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. Orcars are very cute. It's kinda rare to see an Orca too. Right? I don't exactly see a lot of Orca characters out there. I've seen one or two, like a few, but just not... Yeah, not a lot. Actually, not a lot of Orcas out there. But then again, I would love to see more kobolds. Always more kobolds. Oh. Okay. I'm gonna wait for the timer to go down as always. Tomorrow I'll do Atlo. I'm gonna continue doing Jade's model. I don't know how long it's gonna take still, but I'll try my best. Yeah, I don't know if tomorrow is gonna be kobold or snake or dragon. I don't know. But take care everyone. Kobold loves y'all. Mwah. See you guys tomorrow. Bye bye. Take care.